have their questions answered, and then vote at the same time? Or how about the bill that they passed to only allow the Secretary of State to mail out an unsolicited absentee ballot application, and only if the General Assembly appropriates the funds? And then, though, also, if that were not enough, to make it harder for the absentee ballot to count, that it can be thrown out for immaterial reasons. Something is wrong with that. To increase the hurdle on provisional ballots. In 2012, we had about 35,000 provisional ballots thrown out. Something is wrong with that. And so I'm really glad to be with folks who understand that we have to have a righteous, unapologetic indignation about what is going on in the great state of Ohio. It is wrong to suppress anybody's vote. It is wrong not to place public policies that help to lift folks. We are better together. And so in the spirit of Alice Paul, my God, who chained herself. I don't know how many of us even to this day are bold enough to chain ourselves to the White House gate. She sacrificed, and the other women, her other sisters, they made great sacrifices for us to be where we are today. And I can only imagine that they are rolling over in their graves at what is happening in this state and across the country with voting rights. Something is wrong with that. And so I have a quote from Dr. Alice Paul when she said, "I never doubted that equal rights was the right direction. Most reformers, most problems are complicated. But to me, there is nothing complicated about ordinary equality." There's nothing to think about. There is nothing to second guess. Either you're for equality and justice for all, or you're not. There is no middle ground to that. Either you're going to push policies that lift women and lift families. And I want to say, because I had a woman come up to me one day, because I made a statement about women's issues, our families' issues. She said, "You know, Senator Turner, all women don't have children." Duly noted. Duly noted. She is right. I'm talking about all women, no matter what our family status may be. Because women are forces of nature. And when women move, whether we're married or not, have children or not, we make a difference in the space of humanity. Everybody has had a mother. We have sisters, either by birth or not, but we form relationships with one another. And when Dr. King said that inequality and justice, he said what affects one directly affects us all indirectly. We are in the sister and brotherhood of humanity. And how dare we in the 21st century not stand up? We owe a debt to our foremothers. And when Kathy talked about, Kathy or Tammy, because both of you, but somebody talked about how women are not written about in history. Or at least we don't understand it because we're not taught it from grade school up. That women in the historical space have been relegated to second-class citizens. So I implore everybody in this room, we need to lift a sister every time, every chance that we get. Lift a woman every chance that we get. Women are brilliant. And if I were at a church meeting, Mother Queen, if I would say the following words. If God made anything better than a woman, he must have kept it to himself. But I am not. So I want to thank the PDA for having ERA, the ratification, at the top of your list, because women's issues, whether they have families or not, it are the nation's issues. And when women are, can you imagine though being in a family where your mother makes 55 cents on every dollar, or 65 cents on every dollar, or 77 cents on every dollar? And I understand from 72 years, we haven't made much progress.
1 penny.
1 penny in 70.
Yeah, 1 penny.
1 penny in over 70 years. That's not progress. That's not progress. And imagine those families as we look to lift families, women who are married and who do have children. Imagine the imbalance in that family when the mother only brings home 55 cents or 65 cents or 77 cents. How unfair is that? And then when we look at communities of color and the disproportionate poverty rates, and we wonder why. And in families, we know disproportionately communities of color, African American communities in particular, are dominated by single mama households, and we want to understand why that family is still mired in poverty. It is because of inequality. If I can just say to you this afternoon that PDA, the mission that you are on is so high, we can't get over it. It's so low, we can't get under it. It's so wide, we cannot get around it. This is important because what you are doing is about flesh and blood. It is the difference between somebody being able to pay their rent or pay their car note or put food on the table for their families. This is real. And the reason why I know is because of my life experience. And that's why I'm not conflicted when I am in the General Assembly and I make no bones about who I am standing up for, because it is by experience. Having a mother who was raised in a middle-class household, my grandparents were workers. And they were blessed to move into a community that African Americans migrated to in the great city of Cleveland. My mother was an only child, middle-class parents, but for some reason her life's journey didn't fit her family background. So she got married very young to my father, and she got divorced. And I lived the majority of my life in a single-parent household. I'm the oldest of 7 children. See, you won't read about this. You won't see me have the opportunity when I am on TV raising heaven for the people that I love and that I was elected to serve. But this mother of mine, see, she died at the age of 42 years old. Aneurysm burst in her brain. I saw her that morning. She was in a coma that evening. When I got called to the hospital with my husband, when I got to the room where my siblings were, and they were all crying, and I have a brother who was 6 feet 5 inches tall, and I hadn't seen him cry since he was a little boy. I knew that something was wrong. And when the doctor came in and she said, "Your mother is in a coma," I asked her, could I go see the woman who carried me in her womb for 9 months, was not perfect, but did the very best that she could do. About a week or so later, the doctor told me as the oldest child that my mother was not coming out of the coma, and that it was my responsibility to determine her death date. I was 22. My youngest sister was 12. My mother died on the system of welfare. She died with not a life insurance policy and no money in the bank. So that was a turning point for me. And I had to make a decision about whether or not I was going to have a pity party or whether or not I was going to step up. And I asked the creator of this universe to have mercy on my soul. And if he did that, I was going to make my mother proud, and I was going to become a cycle breaker, to break the cycle of poverty and undereducation in my family line. I have been up the rough side of the mountain. And I'm sorry. So I do take it personally when people who are elected to office to make the lives of people better don't do that, because government was designed for us to do collectively what we cannot do as individuals. And to have people elected, whether they're in Congress or the state legislature or in the governor's mansion, who does not understand that, something is wrong with that. When we have people elected who want to take away the greatest vehicle of equality that we have, which is the ballot box, something is wrong with that. So although my mother never lived to see her eldest daughter graduate from a community college and matriculate to a 4-year university, earning a bachelor's and master's degree, and sworn in as a locally elected official, and then as an Ohio State Senator, I know that she is in heaven saying, "You go, girl, and you keep representing the people." So, if you want to know why my hair is always on fire, it's because I love to be able to represent the people, and this is the people's power, it's not my power. It's your power. And I only have it for a temporary amount of time, and I got to be able to do all the good that I can in the space and time that I have. And that's why I'm so encouraged by what you all are doing today. You are the wings. You are the wind beneath my wings. And I usually don't break down this much, but my mother's birthday is coming up, and Mother's Day is coming up, and so this is the point of time this year that is really, really, really difficult for me. But when, besides, when you see me have that righteous indignation, now I want you to know, now you can say, now I know why she fights so hard, and why I don't apologize for standing up for people. And if folks want to use that against me, then so be it. So be it. So I want to close by just reminding you that you are doing a mighty work. You are. And I'm sure that Dr. Paul would be proud that we were gathered here today to remember her work, but to advance her work, because it is not done. And we got to stand up for the next generation of women and the next generation of men who will love and respect those women, because we cannot do it without the men. This is a partnership. We are all better together. But we got some misguided fellas, no doubt about that. I'm going to end on a high note. I ain't even going to go there. I'm sure my Miss Manager says I done said quite enough already. But there is a correlation, though, between the ballot box and the bread box, a correlation between having people elected to office who will do the right things on behalf of humanity. We can do this year. 2014 is our year. This is our year. There's an app for everything, and I tell you, the day of reckoning will be November. November 2014. We can vote and make some differences. So I want to end on a high note. And Dr. Kearney, I'm going to tell you something. You are the bomb.com. I just apologize because you all did this to me. I just want you to know. I'm nowhere near on the notes that I was supposed to say, my nice and prim, politically correct speech.
I'm glad you did it.
We're not a politically correct crowd.
So I apologize for that. But I do want to say that, you could have had anybody here with you this afternoon, and I'm honored and I'm privileged that you have chosen me. So I want to end with my 3 things, and I know Ronnie knows where I'm going, and Constance knows, and a whole bunch of folks in this room knows. And you know what? I forgot to give my shout out to Portia. Now, Portia, Portia, okay? Isn't she though? I'm gonna tell you something. I adore her. And I know she means something to everybody in this room, but I'm gonna tell you something. Portia has a sister's back on Twitter. I just want you to know that. She will go in on folks on Twitter. They talking about her Nina Turner. She will. Won't she, Angelique? She goes in on them. She will let them know. So Portia, I just want to publicly thank you for all that you do. And Portia is, you can't turn Portia down. I'm sure Angelique, she could not turn. She doesn't take no for an answer. That's primarily why I'm here today. She was not going to take no for an answer. I think she would come and get me if I wasn't here, right? So Angelique, she made sure. We had a lot of events today, but she said, Senator, we have got to. I got to make sure you are there on time because Portia will come out looking for us. But she is a warrior woman, and we have plenty of warriors in this room. So I do want to close by saying to you that I believe that the creator of this universe has given us two hands, one to reach forward and one to reach back, one to reach forward and one to reach back, lifting as we climb. We are our sisters and our brothers' keepers. There is nobody that wants to be poor. Nobody. I haven't met anybody who said the following to me: when I grow up, I want to be poor. I want to be on public assistance, Medicaid, that's the life for me. But we all don't run the race at the same pace, and because I have an experience with that, with a mother who really, really tried, who came from, they weren't ultra wealthy, but they were middle class. But she didn't, everybody doesn't run the race at the same pace, and I totally understand, and that is why I have compassion and empathy. We need more people in the elected space to have compassion and empathy. Two hands, one to reach forward and one to reach back. Number two, we can't ask other folks to do more for us than we are willing to do for ourselves. That hard work and determination pays off. Dr. Paul understood that. She was a hard worker and most determined to make sure that women had the right opportunities. And we carry on her legacy and that of other women who have done the same thing. We stand on their shoulders. Listen, sisters and brothers, we have a debt that we owe to people like Dr. Paul and Ida B. Wells and Fannie Lou Hamer and others that I just don't even have time to name. We will never be able to repay the debt, but we ought to put a down payment on the debt. And the way we put a down payment on the debt is to be relentless in making sure that the ERA that is ratified put a down payment on the debt. But lastly, in the words of my grandmother, who was hailed from the South, and grandma could not read or write, but Doc, she could count her money. Mother Queen, she kept her money in the Southern Ladies Bank and Trust with a handkerchief. And when I asked Grandma, I said, Grandma, what does it take to be successful in this thing called life? She said, my dear granddaughter, all you need are the three bones: the wishbone, the jawbone, and the backbone. She said the wishbone will keep you hoping and praying because hope is the motivator, but the dream is the driver. Kirk, the reason why we do what we do every single day is because we hope and believe that tomorrow will be better than today. She said the jawbone will give you courage to speak truth to power, or in the words of Dante, the hottest places of hell are reserved for those who in times of great moral crisis choose neutrality. We have a great moral crisis on our hands. Great moral crisis on our hands. But she said, Nina, all the hope and wishing, talking and praying in the world doesn't mean a thing unless you have the supercalifragilisticexpialidocious bone. And that is the backbone. Because the backbone will give us all that we need to stand. And when we have done all that we can do, we must keep standing. We are better together, but we were built for this moment. This is our moment. This is our fight to fight. We were built for this moment. As Dr. Paul was built for her moment, and Ida B. Wells built for her moment, and Sojourner Truth built for her moment, we were built for this moment, to stand up for women, to stand up for workers, to stand up for voters, to stand up for our children. We were built for this moment. And if we we take grandma's wishbone, her jawbone, and her backbone, there is nothing that we cannot do. So I want you to be encouraged. Keep the faith. Keep the fight. God bless you. And ERA. ERA forever. God bless you.